When you set out on an artistic endeavor, there's always a wariness that you'll be rendered a jack of all trades, but a master of none. Led by the idea that it's better to specialize in one field than it is to operate across the mediums, it's one of the more infuriating backhanded compliments that any creative can receive. But where this logic suffers a fatal blow is when you examine how Mr. Marshall Mathers straddles both rapping and producing. Welcome back to Hip Hop Madness. I'm your host, Pro the GOAT, and today we're going to be looking at Eminem. Is he hip hop's most underrated producer? Let's get into it. Cited by large sections of hip hop fans as the greatest to ever come within a mile radius of a mic, M's continued dominance as an MC has been offset by his frequently under-publicized production work. Ever since he began to morph into an unlikely force in hip-hop, M's accolades as a producer have been low-key stacking up. On top of granting artists such as Akon, Lloyd Banks, and his Bad Meets Evil comrade Royce the 5'9", their biggest hits with Smack That, On Fire, and Lighters respectively, M's reputation as a safe and capable pair of hands behind the boards has led him to racking up well over 100 production credits over his storied career. Drafted into making beats for the posthumous work of the Notorious B.I.G and Tupac, as well as etching his name into Jay-Z's legacy with tracks such as the infamous Renegade, Moment of Clarity, and 8 Miles and Running, Shady's 360 approach to hip-hop gives him a unique distinction. In addition to being on many people's Mount Rushmore of MCs, M has produced for a whole host of those that share a spot right beside him. From Nas and Jadakiss to Sticky Fingaz, Xzibit and Busta Rhymes, both Shady's star power and clear-cut ability to tap into an artist's headspace has meant that he's uplifted careers in ways that go beyond a cosign or a guest verse. But somehow, the best-selling artist of the 2000s still finds himself sidelined when talk turns to the most prolific beatmakers. As well as granting Akon his biggest hit with Smack That, what M the producer's presence brings to the table was exemplified by the Convict Records Kingpin's version of events that he delivered to Hot 97, claiming that
working with him made me look at the business different, because he was the first artist that I worked with that actually treated the business like a real job.
Known to keep a rigid 9-to-5 schedule, M's work ethic is one key component in what makes him so good at what he does. And as we've seen throughout the years, this is something that he's tried to instill in his own artists at Shady Records while helping to bring their projects to life. Renowned as a workaholic, M's true strengths as a producer come in his ability to spread himself thin and yet refuse to craft something below his own seal of approval. Dating back to the era before 50 Cent's landmark Get Rich or Die Tryin', M told MTV News that, "I'm there doing the mix downs, and me and Dre are just overseeing the whole project, making sure that every song is hot." Across Obi Trice's platinum-selling Cheers, near enough D12's entire catalog, the work of Slaughterhouse and Yellow Wolf through to modern-day signees such as Conway the Machine, M has ensured that he plays an active role in constructing the musical DNA of their projects. All the while, these albums would be created in tandem with Shady's own artistic journey. And in most cases, this has resulted in M adding gold or platinum plaques to his own collection without the need for his name to be front and center. Despite this rare distinction, in which he acted as both label boss and producer, Shady's familiarity with the other side of the recording booth is still overlooked. As the years have passed, Shady has never stopped improving his craft. Along with his work with Griselda's Conway, M is charged ahead with adding more illustrious names to his credits, including his work with Nicki Minaj on 2018's Majesty. But his accomplishments as an MC have always eclipsed his work as a producer. On the one hand, it'd be easy to chalk this up to the fact that he's overshadowed by his mentor, Dr. Dre. As while M may be an incredible producer in his own right, it's impossible to outrun the hulking presence of the man that reshaped the sound of hip-hop in his own image in the 90s and early 2000s. But upon further inspection, the root of why M's beats go under the radar goes deeper. So I want to take a quick break to thank our friends at Keeps.com. For anyone that's endured a battle with thinning or receding hair, you know that it can take an immense toll on your self-esteem. Even if it hasn't affected you as of yet, 2 out of 3 guys will experience some form of male pattern baldness by the time they're 35. As it turns out, the best way to prevent that is by getting ahead of the problem. Keeps excels at doing just that, retaining the hair that you have, and in some cases, promoting growth within the 100,000 men that have put their faith in the product. And in most cases, results will begin to surface within just 4 to 6 months. Years ago, taking action against hair loss will come with the added stigma of having to go to the doctor's office, get signed off on a prescription, and agonizingly wait in line for it. Courtesy of Keeps, all of these additional stresses have been banished, as this consistently 5-star rated product will be delivered right to your door every 3 months. So if you're ready to take action and prevent hair loss, go to keeps.com/HHM or click the link in the description to receive 50% off your first order. During an interview with former Shady signee King Crooked told M that he went down a wormhole on your production credits and asked whether he felt that he was unfairly discounted from the conversation around the best producer rappers. In response, M said that,
I don't know. I love to make beats, right? And over the years I had learned how to produce and probably made some of my biggest songs.
Right.
And was just doing what felt right. It's fun for me to make beats, but it's not as fun as rap is.
Although he may be passionate about it now, M revealed that his initial production happened organically. Rather than striving to become a producer, M's initial moves into this lane came as just simple attempts to mold his own output.
It's interesting, like the first album, you know, like I was sitting there with the Bass Brothers and Jeff Bass like played instruments, right? I knew this music better than they did as far as like what it should sound like,
right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I would just sit in there on the drum machine and I had to have somebody show me how to work it. Sometimes I'd be like, yo, okay, what was that chord? Okay, try it. What if you tried that? I would just hum a lot of
right.
You know? And that's how I started making the beats. And Dre was like, yo, you're producing. That's producing. And I was like, it is? Oh, okay, cool.
Notably, M doesn't spend hours agonizing over each and every track. At regular intervals, he delegates, offering a rough outline of where the assembled beatmaker should head. He comes in sometimes, not to be like, do this, do that, just to vibe a little. Regular collaborator Lawrence Jr. told Rolling Stone, we create the music, they deal with the vocals, whether it's him by himself or him with Dre. Generally speaking, this isn't uncommon for producer rappers. From Q-Tip to Kanye, there's plenty of times in which a famed multidisciplined artist opt to take the passenger seat. But doing so doesn't diminish their status as a producer in the same way that M seems to. As a result, a 2008 interview with Shade 45 saw M suggest that his production being overlooked comes from his own built-in reluctance to shout about it.
I don't know if everybody knows that I make beats.
Yeah.
Or everybody knows that, based off how we're talking now, I would never just come out and say, yo, I did the beat for this and I did the beat for this. You know, Dre has given me the freedom to more than I ever could have dreamt on the first album. With being able to make some of my own beats on that album, you know, and then the Marshall Mathers LP, and I didn't even know at the time what I was doing.
Whether he's outsourcing to other producers or holding down the boards himself, one thing that doesn't really change is that M remains hands-on with the whole process. Perhaps as a byproduct of this approach, many of M's greatest beats, as well as part of the reason that he's regularly overlooked, is that he arguably works best within a creative partnership. Long before Dr. Dre plucked M from obscurity and saved his own career in the process, M's talents were being overseen by FBT Productions, otherwise known as the Bass Brothers. Comprised of Mark and Jeff Bass, this duo had a hand in M's career from the often forgotten Infinite all the way through to brief work in 2009's Relapse. Elsewhere, his extensive list of collaborations with Louis Resto has helped to expand his musical horizons and given way to not only countless tracks on his own records, including hits such as Mockingbird, Like Toy Soldiers, and the Academy Award-winning Lose Yourself, but also some of the seminal Shady Records output that I've referenced earlier. Eternally underrated as he may be, it's important to remember that in 2004, M found himself entrusted with another Akon's legacy. Whatever your feelings on posthumous records may be, it's hard to deny that when it came to Loyal to the Game, a great deal of attention was paid to capturing the spirit of Tupac for fans new and old. Tasked with sifting through the maze of master tapes that Tupac left behind in order to bring his sound into a new landscape, it was a responsibility that M, the hip-hop historian, treated with the utmost care. I wrote to Afeni and said, "Please consider letting me produce this album," he told MTV News. As a longtime fan of Tupac, his music, his persona, his everything, to be able to produce 1 or 2 tracks is a dream. So I just basically dropped a little note to her letting her know what her son meant to me, as well as a lot of other people in the industry. She gave me the green light and I was like, thank you for the opportunity. I was given some Tupac acapellas and just went crazy with them, Shady said. It's been a long time dream for me to be able to get to a level of being able to produce not only other artists, but somebody that I looked up to in general. Left in awe of being given the keys to the kingdom, it's telling that M, the most successful hip-hop artist of all time, was so honored to receive permission. But as he informed Sway, it's this ability to craft beats for his favorite artists that gives him a greater feeling of satisfaction than any platinum plaque ever could.
To make the beat for Nas, like to do anything like that, making a beat for Redman was like, I'm making a beat for Redman. Yeah. And those guys are like some of my favorites of all time. Like, obviously, any accolades or anything that ever comes with this territory, man, I'm always appreciative of. I love it. It's great. Thank you. I'm honored. But doing like that is hands down the best reward anything that this could have ever brought. Being able to make a beat or rhyme with some of my idols is incredible to me. So that to me is where I get the most excitement doing.
With this revelation, we can begin to see M, his production discography, and the status that it holds in a new light. Whether he's overshadowed in this realm by his mentor Dr. Dre, or he's overlooked in general, doesn't really matter to him. At the end of the day, he's still that same kid and is as infatuated with hip-hop as he was when he first started freestyling with his friends coming up in Detroit. So whether he's ever recognized as one of the top 5 producer rappers of all time or not, it won't really matter to him because in his mind, the array of legends that he's made beats for or with is all the approval that you'll ever need. This has been a HipHopMadness original. Make sure to stay tuned and stay up to date on everything we got going on by hitting that subscribe button and notification bell. And hit me up too. Follow me and let me know what other videos you want me to do, what other topics you want me to discuss, and other artists you want me to talk about. Hit that subscribe button and notification bell to stay up to date on every single thing we got coming out. And don't forget to follow us on Instagram at HipHopMadness and join the movement.